that the current, models that you have now, that's not real. But it helped you, and it helps you now because you need those stepping stones. So they are real to the subjective self as a kind of part of the way, and we need it. But the moment we see through something, it's gone. So also when it comes to working with the ego, because this is also, it's such a big part of spiritual work. How do we do that? Once you get to a certain level, it's easy. It's not a struggle. Because when it doesn't exist and you fully understand it, there is nothing to fight. Right? So there is no conflict. There is no struggle. Right? And it's also accepting until you have evolved to that point. You don't have to kind of fight. You have to listen. You have to tune. But you don't necessarily always have to investigate the full extent of the manifestation coming from your instrument being out of tune. If you actively listen and if you actively try to tune for real, you don't have to go through all the other stuff. But then you have to allow in those very direct manifestations, because that also means that the greater levels of consciousness that you're a part of will operate through you, which is already in alignment. So alignment is also an active consciousness that is also you. But it has no self-interest because there is no self, which of course is very confusing for the human brain, because everything, is about that, connected to survival. Survival is the ultimate game of the self, right? And we can see the more we are imprisoned by the game of survival, the lower the consciousness will be. It's just how it is. So just try to notice this in yourself. Back to what we've been talking about, to take care of yourself and to be kind to yourself and to truly nurture and give yourself what is needed. Right? As we talked about, whenever you don't take care of a true need, there will be a want or several of them. And that is then you trying to tune your instrument to a trauma. Right? A want will never cure a need. It's a compensation and a strategy to kind of compensate because you're not fulfilling the need. So this also why the more people get what they want, the sicker they will be, the more, depressed and unhappy they will be. So giving people what they want is the absolute worst you can ever do for them, because it just brings them further away from truth. And for you to keep studying what your true needs are, because most of you, you've seen this for the last couple it's difficult to figure out at this point because it's not part of our culture. The whole culture is based on us not connecting with our true needs. So we have more wants, and the more wants we have, the more wants we will get, because we treat them as if they are solutions, and they are not. So we then accumulate more imbalances and trauma, and we try to cure that with more wants. So it is difficult at this point, but it is really important that you have incarnated into this culture, that you pull yourself out of this. It is impossible to reach higher levels of consciousness and to still, be trapped in this game. When it comes to loving yourself, in the human form, love always starts with respect. For you to love someone, you have to respect them first. Because respect means that you recognize and acknowledge their autonomy, their integrity. And you recognize them as something in and of themselves, and that is none of your business. And then you love. If you don't respect, you will try to fix, you will try to manipulate, you will try to turn that weakness in someone into something that you may use for your own benefit. That's not love. So it's the same thing with you. You have to start by respecting yourself.